Awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome. My name is Shanila Sattar, and I'm the founder of Always Play Studios, which is a wellness studio based in Los Angeles where we do sound baths, breathwork, energy healing. And I'm also the founder of Integrative Wellness Leaders, which is a collective of health and wellness leaders who promote emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual health. And for the last few weeks, we've been hosting this virtual global festival, which was only supposed to really last for 1 week, kind of on like Instagram. But since we've been able to reach so many people and you keep coming back and asking us for more workshops, we're like, all right, who wants to come and help spread the health and wealth and, really be able to share in this collective, especially during this time where we're seeking connection, we're seeking wellness, and we're just seeking to be able to be loved and to be cared for and cared about. So we're so honored to partner with WellSet, which is the first centralized platform for wellness practitioners and health practitioners to be matched with clients. So you can go on this platform and find basically the exact person that you want to work with for the need that you have. So if you're somebody in your 20s who has a gut health issue and you struggle with, some kind of health issue, you can find a person who works very specifically for that reason. And there's amazing practitioners all over the world. You can work virtually with them. You can work virtually in person once we're allowed to, be out of quarantine and be out in in the real world later in the next couple of months. So it's an amazing platform. And today we have Gabby, who is a speaker, she's a coach, and she's a yoga rehab specialist. And she addresses all angles of health and wellness to help women step back into their power and to end self-sabotage. Anybody guilty of that? Design and implement their lives and that they've always imagined for themselves. And Gabby's mission is to help women identify their message for the world, melt away stress, anxieties, and truly step into happiness. And so through mindset coaching, facilitating healing, healing the emotional and physical bodies, Gabby will help you live your healthiest and happiest life. So thank you for being here, Gabby. I'll let you take it away and can't wait for your workshop.
Thank you so much for the beautiful intro. My name is Gabby DeLorenze. I am local here to Nashville, Tennessee, and I have stepped into this coaching realm, thank goodness, before Corona kind of hit us up, but continuously always stepping into it, and then teaching others how to do it as well. So I think the biggest thing right here and now that I am trying to teach you, cultivating abundance, is that it needs to change. What it looks like needs to change, based off of what you have going on in your seasons of life. If you're women, based off your cycle, even if you don't identify as woman, based off your different cycles of life. So right now, during Corona, we have to start to change the way that today specifically abundance looks for you. So I am a coach. I'm a life coach. I call myself an abundance coach. Really what we do when we work together is we identify what's going wrong. We identify what maybe does not look and feel like you stepping into your fullest power so that we can break it down. So today I want to start at the beginning. I have created an abundance wheel. I filled it. These are old ones that I've done. I wanted to just kind of show you the progression, but know that Shanila has my links for everything. So this is an abundance wheel I offer for free. So I'll make sure you guys have all the links for that as well. It's like a life wheel. So if you've ever filled out a life wheel, it's the same kind of things. If you've ever had a life coach before, they might have taken you through something like this. But my intention for you to show you this wheel is to give you practical but tangible ways to look at overall how you really are doing. So I'll get this a little closer to you guys. This is an old one from earlier in March. But basically, you'll see that I really wasn't doing too well. So I was feeling pretty good romantically, feeling pretty good socially, feeling pretty good financially. And I'll take you through all of this in a little bit, but I really just go for the visual. So really, you want to see your life wheel filled. You want a full wheel, a full life. So you can see in this one, I wasn't doing very well. And then 1 week later, so I filled this out. I then made some action-oriented steps, spiritually aligned action-oriented steps to fix this. And I say fix this just to feel more fulfilled in my life. And what then it looked like the next week was much, much better. Still pretty low in the self-care and the movement. You can see from this one, also pretty low. But I was able to find myself a little bit more fulfilled even just 1 week later. So this abundance wheel I've created, we're gonna go through it right now, but basically it gives you that overall visual, but by putting practical, tangible numbers to how you're feeling. So for the abundance wheel, we have different categories. You also will get an abundance key is what I call it. So it's basically the breakdown of every single category. So the first one we have is sense of adventure. A sense of adventure can look like going out and going on 5-star vacations and all-inclusive this and that. It can't look like that right now. During Corona, how does our abundance, how does the way we perceive abundance need to change? So maybe your sense of adventure is going for a walk around your neighborhood. Maybe if you have children, you're doing almost like Easter egg hunts around the backyard with them, or around the house if you don't have a backyard. So seeing that during these times, it's not saying you can't live an abundant life, but just changing your view on it, changing how you perceive your sense of adventure, what you're actually going for by looking for a sense of adventure. Can your sense of adventure change today to maybe you do your hair differently? Maybe you wear new jewelry, new makeup. Maybe you're trying on those clothes that you've had in your closet for about 3 years that you forgot to throw out. Now you're putting them back on and maybe you enjoy them. Maybe they still need to get thrown out. But changing the way you view sense of adventure, because you can't go outside. For me, it's always about the hikes, the getting out, camping, taking my dog for walks or to these cool, in Tennessee, we have a lot of cool woods and trails and a lot of outdoor space. Right now, that's not the safest thing to be doing. So changing up how you view it and what your action steps actually are. For the next category, we have circle of genius. The way that I perceive circle of genius is making sure that you're hanging out with people who stimulate your mind, not just having good conversations about whatever you do for work. So not necessarily coworkers, but Easter, if you celebrate, was yesterday. So maybe you're having conversations around God and Jesus, resurrection, what have you. Maybe you don't practice religion, but you're having really cool conversations on yoga, mindfulness, things that get your mind going with hopefully people who think outside the box than you. So the circle of genius can really be, are you reading other magazines that stimulate your mind different, blog posts, participating in different forms and fashions of getting your mind stimulated, making you think outside the box, think something differently, somebody with a different viewpoint, whether it's politics, right? Not to create arguments, but so that you can always be stepping into a different mind, stepping into different creativity. So for this one, I call it circle of genius. The next one is business. If you've been laid off, business might feel pretty low. But if you've been laid off, maybe it feels a little bit better. Maybe you're able to step into the entrepreneur shoes you've been always wanting to dream of. Maybe you are stepping into some more feeling outside your comfort zone, but finding comfort in that. So if you're a yoga teacher or a wellness practitioner, for me, I would see a lot of people in person clients doing myofascial release, as well as yoga teaching. And so for me, business has been slow, but how can you change your idea of what abundance looks like? It's not even financially. We have a whole different section for finances. But how do you feel in your business? Are you able to still feel fulfilled, even if you're not making the finances, differentiating them as separate things? So not just identifying business equals money, because if you are still fully showing up in your business, even in the online space that might feel different, might feel weird, and might feel hard, you're still able to step up and feel really good, really fulfilled, still stimulating your mind, still using your skill sets, maybe in a different form or fashion. So maybe you actually feel more fulfilled in business than you did before. The next category we have is environment. So if you have been following anything with COVID going around right now, the world is healing. The first layer of the ozone is healing. There's dolphins coming up to the shores of Italy. The Venice canals are clear and clean. You can see through them. LA is seemingly miraculous. The air quality there, I forget what actually they call it, but the air quality is so much better. So for your environment, it can be that big. It can be the world is healing. So feeling fulfilled in that. Environment can also be the environment that you're living in. So notice, as you are in your house more, are things kind of getting left to the wayside? The household chores, making sure you clean the bathrooms, dust the floorboards, all those silly things. If you're used to having somebody to help you out here, they may really be failing. But if you're normally used to cleaning up the house yourself, but now you are literally living in the house. Whenever my house gets a mess and there's blankets everywhere and the sinks aren't clean and everything's just seeming a mess, I always just say the house has been lived in. What a good reframe. Instead of the house is crazy and a mess, which could increase the anxiety, the house feels lived in, especially if you're used to going to work all day. And your kids go to daycare or school or what have you, and maybe your pet's just at home. Maybe your pet goes to daycare as well. Let the house be lived in, but don't let that mess be the thing that sets you over the edge. So a little bit of a reframe. Thank you, Angela. I'm glad you love that. But also reframing, but then also organizing your house. You will not be successful if you are having to work from home. I can promise you, your success is not going to come from living in disorganization. If you are trying to remodel your house right now and you're living in it, it's so much harder, right? The clutter is all around you all the time. So making sure, even if it's just one room in your house, clean it up, make it feel cohesive and safe space to walk into so that you can lay out all your work stuff and show up fully without being distracted by the clutter and the mess, the laundry that still needs to get done. It doesn't matter right now. You are living in your house. You are reframing that, and you are better able to step into your power because your environment is clear. So environment can be worldly environment or can be as close to home as and small as you need it to be. The next one is spirituality. So normally if you're looking at a traditional life wheel, there's 8 categories. I have 12 because, you can never have too much. But also the biggest thing I've seen is that self-care, which is coming up, usually falls on spirituality, normally falls under self-care. I want to challenge you to take it out, because you have to believe in something bigger than yourselves. We all need to believe in something bigger than ourselves. This can be God. This can be nature, Shiva, Buddha. It doesn't matter. It can be Mother Nature, Father Time. It doesn't matter. But believing in something bigger than yourself is going to be a huge piece of what gets you through this. Why? Because when you fall to the wayside, when you have no more faith, no more belief in humanity, in doctors, in science, there is something bigger than you to believe in. I can't stress this enough, and I don't care what you call it, to be totally honest with you, but believe, have something, someone that has your back. You will never be let down. So spirituality can be journaling, breath work, meditation, gratitude journals. It can just be tapping. EFT is a really awesome way to find, if you're needing different techniques to work for you. I want to challenge you to find something, but please feel free to reach out. I have a ton of techniques that have been helpful for me in different areas, right? Different seasons of my life, different things have come to my rescue. Know that movement is coming up. So your spirituality is not just your sun A's and your sun B's first thing in the morning. Your spirituality is truly stepping in to believe in something bigger than yourself. It doesn't matter what it is or what you call it, but have something. And how does that resonate? That, I promise you, will offer you the peace I think that we're all just crazy searching for right now. And the next one is self-care. So for self-care, right now, This could traditionally look like getting your nails done, getting your pedicure, getting your massage, going to get a facial, your hair done, dyed, cut, colored. You cannot be around people right now, not safely. So how does self-care need to change? There's 100 ways to do the same thing. No, you're probably not going to be putting the gel manicure on yourself. You probably can't really give yourself a nice full body deep tissue massage. But what you can do is myofascial release. Grab a ball, grab a tennis ball, grab a foam roller and sit on it, rub on it, love on it. If you're sitting all day working at a computer, put it underneath your bum and just kind of rock around. The biggest thing with myofascial release that I can share with you is that as long as you avoid the bone, and so you're not putting it right underneath your bone, you really can't do it wrong. So it can be a soft ball, it can be a hard ball. Like a lacrosse ball is really, really hard. You can use a tennis ball, has a little bit more give to it. To be honest, I have pretty mushy balls that I have kind of created for my clients that I give to them. You can use old dog toys. It really, truly, and honestly does not matter. You can use a rolling pin from the kitchen. If you have a meat tenderizer hammer thing, I'm vegetarian, so I don't have one, but those work. I had my client grab one the other day. They work just fine. So get creative. But if it hurts, so myofascial release, the fascia lives between the skin and the muscle. So if you are pushing pretty deep, you've already gone past the fascia. Biggest piece for myofascial release, find a spot, right? Outside of our hips tend to be really tight. Sit on the ball, whatever prop you have. If your pain is around above a 7 to 10, so right, we have a pain scale from 0 to 10. 10 is I cannot breathe through it. 10 is not being hit by a bus. 10 is I can't breathe and relax into this. So find the ball, sit on it. If you can't breathe through it, move the ball. 1 inch might be all that you need in order to let your body kind of relax and you start to find some actual release in the muscles and the fascia. So if you cannot breathe through it, you've gone too far. Move the ball or use your hands, kind of take some weight off of the ball or whatever prop you're using. But you want to stay somewhere around a 4, 5, or 6. Breathe through it. You can hang out for about 30 seconds. You can take 10 breaths. It doesn't matter. But letting your body, just exploring it. So putting the ball on either side of your spine. Maybe you have 2 different balls. You can put them just don't put it right along the bones. If you put the prop on the bones, it just never feels good. So leave it a little bit to the outsides of whatever bones you're working on, but you really can't do it wrong. The way I teach it is I like to create a little bit of movement. So perfect spot right behind your shoulder blade and your spine. Lay on your back with the prop underneath you, and then find almost like some snow angels. Palm up, palm down will be different, but really this gives you an opportunity for self-care, but you're exploring your body. You are exploring what's tight, especially right now during this season. If you've been sitting for much more, your hips are probably tighter. So find some myofascial release. Maybe you throw in an extra slow flow restorative yoga class. But knowing that it's not going to be going out to do all of these fancy things. You're going to have to invite it into your own home. So painting your own nails, having your own spa day, fill up a pot of water, little bit of water, 1 splash of eucalyptus oil, 1 splash of peppermint, steam your face. So take a really big towel over your face, 10 minutes, just breathe. If you're experiencing seasonal allergies, this will absolutely help. And if you experience any sort of hormonal acne, the eucalyptus helps dry you out a little bit too. So know that there's 100 ways to just invite beautiful self-care into your days, despite not being able to go out. But it does take a little bit of prep work. So schedule it in. And this goes for everything. When we start talking about actually how we can start to cultivate our dream life, to change what you're feeling and make it grow, go more positive. right now, it just needs to look different, All right, movement. Movement can be whatever feels good in your body. If you're a runner, go run. If you are a yogi, do yoga, lift weights, running, jumping, cutting, sprinting, it doesn't matter, but move your body. Recommended is just 20 minutes of moderate exercise. What they mean by moderate exercise is you're getting your heart rate up a little bit. It's not that it's beating 100 beats per minute, but you're getting your heart rate up a little bit. So 20 minutes of movement a day. With that being said, if working from home is new for you and you don't know how to fit in this time because everything is new, home practice is the hardest. So know that you're not alone. But if you take 5 minutes every now and then, it only takes 4 5-minute increments to hit your 20 minutes. So add it up. When you're brushing your teeth, if your toothbrush has a timer on it, traditionally it'll be for 2 minutes. Find some lunges, find some calf raises, find some squats, walk around the house while you're brushing your teeth. Every little bit will add up. If you're having a hard time, how do you identify and schedule this in? Or if schedules just don't work for you right now because the kids are home, your work's a mess, the house, everything's a mess, a little bit of 2 to 5 minutes, a few times a day will give you your 20 minutes of movement really easily. But with that being said, you can also start to combine some things. So for you, if your house is a crazy mess and your kids are screaming at the top of their lungs, if you have somebody home to watch your babies with you, oh, good. Hold on, breaking it down into 5 minutes, it's super validating and feels less overwhelming. I'm so great, Angela. That's yes. And you get it done and it doesn't matter. And also, huge point here, you're starting to build in habits. We are creatures of habit. So we are definitely needing to invite it in to then feel how good it feels. So don't leave that part out. Make sure you realize how good do I feel after my workout so that you start to develop the habits. But yes, home practice is the worst. And I say it's the worst because it's self-motivating. You have to get up and do it yourself. Use your resources. Between these beautiful webinars that are going on, online health clinics and cares, and I know Beachbody is offering all their free workouts, and there's a ton of, I'm in Nashville, there's a lot of yogis here, but there's so much free or donation-based online right now. So use them. Find a new class to take. If it's bar, if it's workouts, if it's a bouncing class, if you have a small trampoline at your house, it can be anything. But just inviting some fun, playful movement, I promise you, will shift your energy. And if you've never just put on some good music and shake your hips and just dance and let it feel good, you're missing out. So no, it does not need to be a 60-minute organized yoga class. You show up 5 minutes beforehand, or rather log in 5 minutes beforehand and you stay after. It can be a short little bits throughout the day, but finding something that brings you joy, something that puts a smile on your face. If your workouts are just drudgerous and knuckle dragging and you're not enjoying it and it's not putting a smile on your face and changing your energy, you're doing it wrong. So maybe you leave that behind for now. If it feels like discipline, right? There's a time and place for all of that. But most importantly, right now, I truly believe that your movement time needs to be something that puts a smile on your face, hopefully that brings you outside as well, if you feel safe and if at all possible. Awesome. So the next one we have is home and family. Right now, this may be really tough. And by home and family right now, that might need to change. If you are living with just regular roommates, people who are not your traditional family, you might be considering them family now because they're the only people you can hang out with during this time in real life, in real time. So you got to change it up. If your kids are at home, they have a new schedule, they might be doing online classes right now. Everything is new to everyone. offer yourself a ton of grace. Offer yourself to not help your children one day. Give them a mental health day. It's the same things you would be doing if they were in school. You just all happen to be home. So offer yourself as parents grace, as children with parents grace. Right now, your home and family life may feel crazy. So intentionally finding time to sit down, ask your spouse, ask your children how they're actually really doing. Not just, oh, I'm doing good. How are they really doing? So that you can know the next time that your son starts cussing you out for seemingly no reason, you've already asked him how he's doing. He's telling you he's not doing okay. Right? It's that quote that says, if I'm holding a cup of coffee and somebody knocks into me, why did I spill coffee on myself? It's because I had coffee in my mug. So as you start to fill yourself up, when something hits you, something bumps you, what's going to fall out of your cup? It's whatever's inside of you. So if you're already feeling stressed out and then something really comes, shakes you, rattles you, bumps into you, what's going to spill out is what's in you. It's going to be that stress. You will then react with stress. So fill yourself up with something else. Fill yourself up with something that brings a smile to your face. So when life comes and bumps into you, as it always does, and as it seemingly is doing day after day after day, because nobody even has any idea of what to expect, let something other than your stress and anxiety come out. So don't keep yourself filled with that. And I hope to share, I will share some of those tactics with you a little bit later when we finish going over the wheel. So know that what is inside is going to be what's coming out. So offering your family some time to let things out. Offering some intentional playtime, intentional not work time. So if the kids are doing schoolwork, don't let the only work do is just schoolwork. Maybe you find some creative time. If you're reading, if you like to draw or color, arts and crafts, make some dream catchers, whatever you have in the house. But letting this be a time of, yes, learning, but know that this is difficult for everyone, no matter what age. So changing up a little bit of the family time. If you're not used to sitting at a table together, maybe that's something you can introduce, even if it's just one day a week. Little bit of organization is good, right? We are creatures of routine and creatures of habits. So not letting everything fall to the wayside. The next one is finances. So with finances, yes, this is your debt, your student loans, the money coming in as well as the money coming out, the bills and all of that. You may be applying for unemployment for the first time in your life. There is nothing wrong with that. And if there is something wrong with that in your world, please know that it is ego. You have to put into unemployment in order to be eligible to receive it. So drop the ego, especially if this is the money that is going to help your family out. I know it's hard to accept help from others. Speaking from a woman's standpoint here, it is hard to accept help from others. But in order to be eligible for unemployment, you have to have paid into it. So you have earned it. Put your ego aside, especially if it's what your family needs right now. With that being said, I think hopefully we're all staying in. So we are probably spending less money. We might have had to stock up on some things, which might have cost a little bit more money. But know that your spending is not really going anywhere. With that being said, I understand we all have bills and debt that is due at certain time points during our life. So I don't have much offer as far as help besides the unemployment, the finances. It's all very confusing. I have a beautiful CPA who puts out an email. So if you guys are looking for that, just leave your email. I'll connect you with her. She's local to Nashville, but she works with a lot of small business owners, especially. So if that is you and you are looking to just stay up to date on what you're eligible to apply for, definitely let me know. I will connect you with her and her email list. She does a really good job at putting it into layman's terms for people like me who have never had to deal with any of this unemployment, small business loans, and what have you. But with that being said, you may have been laid off from your job as well. So making sure that you know your numbers, be so into your finances that it's uncomfortable. If you need help with money mindset, let me know. I have a bunch of a lot of journaling prompts that I can just send to you and do on your own. I'm not here today to specifically talk about money mindset, but the best piece of advice that I can offer you is to write out your money story. So this traditionally looks like whoever raised you, what were their stories around money? So make three columns. Fold your paper in thirds. First column is going to be who raised you and what story they told you. Kayla, I got you. Let me copy this. Yeah, she's been doing a really great job at least keeping people up to date on what's going on in the world. So I got you, Kayla. So who taught you whatever their money story is, right? So for me, it was my mom and dad. They were divorced, but they both raised us with joint custody. So I would write down mom's money story was that she had to hustle. She had a job since she was 12. She was raised in Sicily, in Palermo, Sicily. And so for her, being an Italian woman, she needed to hustle. She needed to make her own. Ain't got no time for a man. Miss Independent. So she taught me a lot about hustle equals money. My dad, on the other hand, had a little bit more money, was just working at I think, better job and did not raise 3 children right in a row. And was not home with 3 children all day, every day, right in a row. And my dad was a little bit more greedy with his money. He was the breadwinner. And so for him, he wanted to hold on to it and keep it. And so the best thing that I learned from him was that you had to hold on to it. Don't spend it, right? Spending money, investing, don't invest in yourself. If you give out money, don't expect it back. Neither of these stories serve me anymore. They have definitely helped me get to where I am. So I look at them and I say, Mom, thank you so much for teaching me how to work hard. And I forgive you, because hustle does not equal money anymore in my life. So acknowledge it, whatever the story is that you learned based off of their actions and their sentiments, and then forgive them. Forgiveness is a super high vibrational. So is love, so is money. All high vibrational words, energies, frequencies. So acknowledge the story, send them love, and forgive them will equal more money. How? It's all about mindset. I promise you this. Everything is only about mindset. What you get back from the world is exactly what you're putting out. So forgiveness and love. And then, so that's our first columns. In our second columns, your rewrite. Rewrite it. What's the new story? So now I know that hustle doesn't equal money. What equals money? So being of service, showing up in a positive frequency, a positive energy, absolutely will attract more to me. With my dad's story of greed and holding on to it, if I invest in myself, I can learn more. I can be of greater value, of better service to people. So therefore, that makes me more expansive. So that's already bringing more into my life. So we have who the person is, what their story is. You have your rewrite, and then you have your action. So for what is your action? For me, it looks like investing in myself. My action, my spiritually aligned action step was investing in my first business coach, was investing in another business coach, was investing in a group coaching program, a mastermind, right? It's that $50 thing you buy, or that a couple $1,000 thing you buy. It doesn't matter, but the frequency around it also doesn't matter. So creating spiritually aligned action steps. My spiritually aligned action steps with hustle equals money looked like me setting parameters around my work time, making sure by Friday afternoon, I traditionally work during the week. By Friday afternoon, I am off my computer by 5 o'clock latest. During other weeknights, I am off my phone by 8 p.m. Not saying this happens every night, but every night I try to be intentional. Now, if a meeting has to happen, if they're in a different time zone, or I'm just running behind, or I choose to take a longer break during the day and want to work a little bit later, you have the options. But the spiritually aligned action steps are there in place for you. I hope that helps with money mindset. And then social. So social does not look like going to hang out with your friends, but it can look like this online realm. There's Zoom, there's Facebook Messenger, Instagram does DMs, Marco Polo is like a walkie-talkie app that has videos. So it's almost like you're texting, but just short little video clips. What am I thinking of? There's different webcams things, whether it's Zoom or Teams. I know Microsoft uses Teams, doesn't Skype. Finding different ways to connect. It will not be the physical touch that you're looking for. It will not be that in-person energy sharing, but there is something to be said about sharing your energy with somebody in this online space. It's not as far off as you might think. With that being said, social right now, you might not just be able to call up your girlfriend and chit chat. You may need to actually make a date with them. So setting, hey, Gab, is it all right if I call you at Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Are you free? I can come back and say, no, but 4 o'clock works. You're like, perfect. Would you be available to FaceTime? Absolutely. That would be a really great way to connect with me, right? Set up your dates. It might feel weird, but that way you know you're not going to be let down. I think right now, not knowing what we're going to get day to day, having something to look forward on the schedule, especially in this social realm, is really awesome. Whether it's connecting with an old friend, keeping in touch with your elderly people in your life who maybe don't know this online world as well, helping them get connected so that they can feel a part of it. But it can look like anything. You can write letters if you feel comfortable getting and receiving mail right now. Emails, there's no touching with emails, but just having different ways, intentionally staying connected right now, because it's so easy, especially if you're not leaving the house, you're not seeing anybody else, to just kind of stay in that slumpy kind of land. So making sure that you intentionally connect with people, especially the ones who might need a little bit more help getting and staying connected. Specifically, some of our older folks or people who just aren't in this online realm as much as some other people are. And the last two, number one, romance. This is your partner, your spouse. You may or may not be quarantined with them. If you are quarantined with your partner or spouse, what about getting your massages from them? Setting up a date night, feet rubs, right? So physical touch is a human necessity. With that being said, if you guys are looking for different ways to connect at a physical touch level, I am offering a workshop on this. So just reach out if you need me. It's all everything I'm doing right now is donation based. So, but it's teaching you how to use physical touch as a love language with the people that you are allowed to touch right now. So basically just the people you're quarantined with. But if you're looking just for some help stepping into some more physical touch as a love language, it is a human necessity. So making sure that whoever you are quarantined with, and not in a sexual, sensual way, but just in like putting your hand on their shoulder as you walk by, feeling somebody touch you. I know when I was teaching yoga, and I would teach a lot of myofascial release workshops in person, I'm a big hugger, and I would hug people and be like, man, this one gentleman came in, I gave him a hug. I know him. He's an old client of mine. He said, man, this is the first hug I think I got all week. I was like, all week? What do you mean? He's like, well, he hasn't been able to he lives alone, hasn't been able to go to yoga all week, and he works from home. So for him, that one hug that I gave him just to say hi was the only physical touch that he got all week. So know that it is a human necessity. And right now that we can't even be within 6 feet of people, you have to be intentional about getting it in. So please let me know if you're interested in that. I would love to send over some information for you. But getting creative, of course, it needs to get creative again. So what does that look like? Write sweet love notes to each other, put on some music and just dance, slow dance, fast dance, silly dance, just start to connect. Get dressed up, put the lights low and light some candles and just sit at a dinner together if you feel comfortable ordering in or making it together and prepping the food. Or if you're like my household, I cook, he cleans. So setting something up that makes you guys feel like you are a partnership, that you're doing this together. is just so, so, so important. And then the last one is nutrition. So right now, it's very important for us to be taking care of our bodies. Because of that, what you put in is absolutely going to be what you get out, right? So when you're working out and you're trying to lose weight specifically, it's 80% diet and 20% movement. So diet is absolutely everything. Right now, we're all trying not to get sick. Drink a ton of water. Eat as many fresh fruits and vegetables as you can get your hands on. Canned will work, but know that fresh fruits and vegetables is where you want to be spending most of your time. But then also cooking for yourself more. Making sure that you are eating a well-rounded diet. So are you always going to the pantry? My advice for you is to look in the fridge first. What is in the fridge is perishable. If it's perishable, it means it's not processed and not packaged, typically, not always. But with that being said, look in the fridge first. If you are going to the grocery store, it's walking around the outside of the grocery store. When you're ordering food online, it's a little bit trickier, but no, if it has an expiration date on it, it's probably perishable. It's probably better for you. So making sure, get your face out of the pantry, look in the fridge. I also wanted to mention alcohol. I've had a lot of people joking about drinking a lot of wine and not drinking water and drinking all day. Alcohol will lower your white blood cell count. Alcohol will lower your immune system, making you more prone to infection and disease. It will boost morale. Proceed wisely. So monitor how much you're drinking. Don't just drink a whole bottle to your face and just say, oops. Making sure you are still being intentional, because you can be doing everything right. If your alcohol consumption is up too high, you will lower your immune system. So there is a beautiful balance in there somewhere. Yes. Cool. So please use the chat box if you guys have any questions. But this, again, is just the abundance wheel. There will be a link for you to grab it, as well as the abundance key will be in there for you as well. But this has just been a way to find tangible numbers to how you're feeling, so that you can continuously be dreaming and achieving the dream life that you want. So if you see this as your abundance wheel, and you say, oh, well, my circle of genius is pretty low. I don't really feel like doing more reading or doing much more connection. Maybe I want to focus on something else is low. Oh, movement's low. So now as you start to cultivate your dream life, it all stems from your wheel. So when you are designing your dream life, start here. You already know what you need to schedule into your week. So my advice for you is to fill out the abundance wheel on a Sunday. If your work week is typical Monday through Friday, on a Sunday, take a moment to fill this out. How are you feeling? So here I see my nutrition's low. Okay, so what can I do to boost my nutrition? Well, on Monday, I'm going to make dinner. I'll make sure I make enough for lunch, what have you. I'm going to make sure I schedule in more time to cook for myself, more time to meal prep, whatever that looks like for you nutrition-wise, so that you can make better decisions during the week and improve this. But now you can actually start to schedule it in. If for me, I know that when my movement's low, I need more, traditionally more yoga in my life. I like to lift weights. I like to do yoga, and I go for some short walks when I'm feeling comfortable, which right now I'm at a really weird feeling with how I feel about going for walks around my neighborhood. So I have been trying to get more yoga in. I've been using some free yoga on Instagram right now. But basically what you want to see is that on my calendar for the week, that I have scheduled in movement. I have blocked out time for yoga, because I know if I can block out that time, this will go up. I will be feeling more fulfilled in my life. Where can you get the abundance wheel? There will be a link after this. I'm not sure where, but we'll make sure you get it. We'll make sure you get it. Okay, so when you are designing your dream life, when you're trying to step into that, when you're trying to create a big change is how I should phrase it. When you are trying to create a big change, you want to start small because we are creatures of habit, because we are creatures of routine. So instead of just saying that if I've done no movement all week, I'm going to work out 6 times a week from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. It's like, well, Gab, you haven't been getting up until 7:30. So you're going to get up at 6 days a week? No, it's not going to happen. And now I am just building a lack of trust for myself. So keeping everything smart, goal-oriented, but practical. So if I know I'm getting up at 7:30 every morning, I want to now say, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is meditate. Starting to create a morning routine. I find it best in the morning. If evening routine is better for you, do an evening routine. But first thing off the bat, before I touch my phone, I'm going to sit for my meditation. I'm going to do some journaling and I do my morning routine, which looks like 20 minutes of meditation. I write in my gratitude journal, and I typically will journal as well right after that if I have the time. Now I've blocked out time to work out after that's done. But I'm only going to say I'm going to do it 2 to 3 times a week because I haven't worked out all week for the last whatever. So making them small, bite-sized, and tangible so that you actually accomplish it. Even if it's just to say you're going to work out 2 times a week. Your end goal may be to be working out 4 to 5 times a week. Aim small, miss small. Keep it practical. You start to build the trust in yourself, and you start to not let yourself down. Your worst enemy should not live between your own 2 ears, watching the thoughts that are coming into your head. So when you set up these thoughts to start changing your life, to change your wheel, to change the way you perceive your life, small and tangible. With that being said, there is a phrase I like to use, which number 1, and self-sabotage, as well as just starts to create a different process for yourself. It's I am in the process of. So instead of saying I'm lazy, I haven't worked out all week. Say, I am in the process of getting back up on the horse. I am in the process of getting stronger. I am in the process of you're not lying to yourself. If you just say, oh, I lift weights. Do you? If you do, great. If you're not, you're lying to yourself and your body knows better. So I am in the process of making my first 6-figure year. I am in the process of having my first 5-figure months. It's different than just saying, number 1, saying I'm poor, saying I have no money, saying I have 5-figure months when you don't. You lied to yourself and now your body doesn't trust you. Your body is smart, it holds on to everything. So I am in the process of creating a 5-figure month. I am in the process of finding 5 spiritually aligned clients. But changing out your I am statements with I am in the process of will help build the relationship you have with yourself back, especially if you've been lying to yourself for a while, which we all do subconsciously, which will be one of the last things we share. I share with you before we hop into some meditation and some breath work. But really the biggest thing is with self-sabotage, noticing your thoughts. When you start to create spiritually aligned action steps to help you grow your wheel, notice your thoughts. Are they negative? Are you just down on yourself? Your thoughts are going to be your reactions. You have to now better respond. How do we respond instead of react? Number 1, think about your cup being filled. What you have inside of you is going to be what you put out into the world. So fill it up with love and joy and hope and beautiful things. It's not going to be all the time, but most of the time. When the self-sabotaging thoughts start to come in, I'm not good enough. I have a fear of judgment, a fear of success, a fear of failure. All of these self-sabotaging thoughts that start to come in. All you have to do is pause, put a break in the thought, recognize it, see it for what it is. The first question is, what's coming up here? Why is this coming up? When have I felt this before? So fear of judgment is one that I have a lot of my entrepreneur clients, right? Showing up on Instagram, showing up for a webinar like this, showing up on your stories, doing live stuff, promoting yourself, all of these entrepreneurial things, they have a fear of judgment, so they don't show up at all. Number one, when has this showed up in your life before? Were you made fun of as a kid when you would go do your crazy dancing in the middle of the room? Were you too loud as a kid and people would tell you to be quiet, or that you were being too loud? These are some of the reasons why you are exactly the way you are today. There's nothing wrong with that. But now in your older/adult life, those lessons just don't serve you anymore. So pause, put a pause, and then try again. So if your thoughts are, I'm not enough, who am I to show up and talk about this thing? Stop. When has this shown up in my life before? It may not, you might not be able to pinpoint it, but just think, when have I felt this way before? It might be a better rephrase for that for you. When have I felt this way before, or when has this shown up for me before? And then you get to choose again. So choose a better thought. Well, what if I were to be able to help just one person get a little bit better? One person can now show up more fully because I actually shared this with them. And if that doesn't work, I am in the process of showing up fully. How can I show up just a little bit different? Not perfect. How can I show up just a little bit different today? You always get to choose again. Notice the thoughts as they start to come up, especially as you start to take spiritually aligned action steps to change what is coming up for you when you fill out the wheel. And when you fill out the wheel, be brutally honest with yourself. It's not saying don't give yourself a 10 with anything. But if you give yourself a 10, be so fully present, and maybe you write out why that was a 10. Well, we set up, my romance is a 10 because we set up time for each other. So maybe that's something you now need to schedule in, is time for each other, especially if it is helping you feel fulfilled. So to end us off here, everyone come to a comfortable seat. Hands can be on your thighs to help ground down. If you are looking to receive, bring your palms up. Take a big breath in together. Open mouth, sigh it out. One more like that. Inhale. Open mouth, let it go. Starting at your right big toe. Notice any tension, discomfort, anything that you feel there. Heat or warmth. Through the arch of your foot, into your ankle. Tracing the sensations up your calf, your shin, into the knee. Notice any tension or tight spots behind your knee. Through your right quad, notice the weight going through your right hip. You can wiggle a little left and right. Just notice, are you sitting evenly in the left and the right hip? Across the bowl of your pelvis into your left hip. Down your left quad. Feeling your thighs resting on the chair, whatever you're sitting on. To your left knee, the space behind your knee. Down your left calf. Into your left heel. Arch of your left foot. Into your big toe. Back up your left leg into the bowl of your pelvis. Notice the difference, left versus right leg. With every inhale, feel as your low belly rises. Every exhale, the low belly comes up, the ribs come together. Notice any space in your low back, any tension or tightness. Up your spine, maybe you sit up a little taller. Into your right shoulder. Down your right arm, feeling the energy in the palm of your hand. If you're touching your thigh, feel the energy transfer between the palm and your thigh. If your palms are up, feel the energy, the receiving, being pulled in to your palm. Back up your right arm across your collarbones to your left shoulder. Down your left hand, pausing at the palm of your hand, feeling the energy being shared or received. Back up your left arm to the back of your throat, the small of your neck. Notice the tension, warmth. Relaxing your tongue away from the roof of your mouth, the back of your teeth. As you feel your eyes get heavy and your skull. Feel all the energy out the top of your head. Maybe there's a color, a sensation, a word associated with it. Feeling your body, your physical body, as it holds the answers to all of your questions. When you connect to your physical body, you connect to the emotional and the spiritual realm as well. This body scan is yours and only yours. Use this tool when you need a yes or when you need a no. Asking yourself the question and seeing how your physical body responds. Learn what a yes, a true, full-blown yes feels like in the physical body. So you can better connect to your intuition. For we've been here before, and your body has all of the answers. Bring your hands to your heart center and rub your palms around. Feel the energy there. Finding some stillness, take a breath in together. Open mouth, let it go. The light, the love, the teacher in me sees, honors, loves, and respects the light, the love, and the teacher in you. Namaste.
Thank you, Gabby. Thank you so much. We have a couple minutes for questions. If anybody wants to leave a question in the chat, we'll be happy to answer. And I'm going to drop in Gabby's information. This is all of her connection, her Instagram, her Facebook, and you can contact her on her website. You can download that abundance wheel.
Yes, and always, please feel free to reach out if there's questions or as you're processing these and things come up later. I know that's always my MO. um, but please know you're not bothering me. So please feel free to reach out. I would love to be of service to whoever needs it for whatever reason. I know everyone's going through different stuff right now. And so I can't even pretend to act like I know what you're going through, but I can definitely be at least listening ears.
Yes, and she's also offering a 30-day guide to meditation. And if you use the coupon gratitude, you'll be able to save 20% off. So we're so grateful for presenters and practitioners and coaches and healers like Gabby to come and share their gifts and, just give us a wealth of knowledge. And we'll have lots of different events for the next couple of weeks, actually. It's just my collective, Integrative Wellness Leaders, and Healers Collective, which is another collective of health and wellness leaders who are coming together to do this. And we're just doing this as long as there is a need and a space for it. So I hope you will come back, Gabby, give us another workshop, maybe a money mindset workshop. Seems like we can really think a little bit around our money stories right now in the vibration of, a lot of unemployment and everything. And my group also mentors aspiring wellness leaders to inspire, encourage, support. And we have a little collective of leaders who promote each other through different platforms such as this. And we have partnerships pretty much globally in order to be able to help support. And, this time is really for us as health leaders to kind of get ignited. Some of us are taking it easier and slower and going inward, but some of us are ignited. So there is space for that. There are opportunities for that. And if you'd like leadership mentorship, you can go to alwaysplay.org/leadership. And there's some questions and opportunities there for you as well. And anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in. And if not, we will see you next time.
Mm-hmm.